22 don't have a purport because it is on the screen, so we'll read it. Tachrutva Bhagavan Rudro Durmana eva Bharata Omiti Prahasams Dadehir Amritam Yatha Tashrutva Bhagavan Rudro Durmana eva Bharata Omiti Prahasams Tasmai Dedehir Amritam Yatha Tashrutva Bhagavan Rudro Durmana eva Bharata Omiti Prahasams Tasmai Dadehir Amritam Yatha. Word to word meaning. Tad, this, Shrutva, hearing, Bhagavan Rudra, Lord Rudra, Durmana, displeased, Eva, as if, Bharata, O descendant of Bharata, Omiti, vibrating, the sacred syllable Om, as a sign of assent. Prahasa, smiling broadly. Tasmai, to him. Dade, he gave it. Ahe, to a snake. Amritam, nectar. Yatha, as. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Upon hearing this, Lord Rudra seemed somewhat disturbed. Nonetheless, O descendant of Bharata, he vibrated Om to signify his accent, granting Vrika the benediction with an ironic smile as if giving milk to a poisonous snake. So we will be reading the verses from 17 to 28. That is the section for today. So we'll be reading all the verses and then we'll begin the discussion. So yesterday we saw that Narad Muni's Brakasur approached Narad Muni and Narad Muni advised him to worship Lord Shiva. So text number 17. Shukdev Goswami continued. Thus advised, the demon proceeded to worship Lord Shiva at Kedarnath by taking pieces of flesh from his own body and offering them as oblations into the sacred fire, which is Lord Shiva's mouth. Vrikasur became frustrated after failing to obtain a vision of the Lord. Finally, on the seventh day, after dipping his hair into the holy waters at Kedarnath and leaving it wet, he took up a hatchet and prepared to cut off his head. But at that very moment, the supremely merciful Lord Shiva rose up out of the sacrificial fire, looking like the god of fire himself, and grabbed both arms of the demon to stop him from killing himself, just as we would do. By Lord Shiva's touch, Vrikasur once again became whole. Lord Shiva said to him, "My friend, please stop, stop. Ask from me whatever you want, and I will bestow that boon upon you. Alas, you have subjected your body to great torment for no reason, since I am pleased with a simple offering of water from those who approach me for shelter." Shukdev Goswami continued, "The benediction sinful Vrika chose from the Lord would terrify all living beings." Vrika said, "May death come to whomever I touch upon the head with my hand." Upon hearing this, Lord Rudra seemed somewhat disturbed. Nonetheless, O descendant of Bharata, he vibrated Om to signify his accent, granting Vrika the benediction with an ironic smile, as if giving milk to a poisonous snake. Text 23. To test Lord Shambhu's benediction, the demon then tried to put his hand on the Lord's head. Thus Shiva was frightened because of what he himself had done. As the demon pursued him, Lord Shiva fled swiftly from his abode in the north, shaking with terror. He ran as far as the limits of the earth, the sky, and the corners of the universe. Text 25-26. The great demigods could only remain silent, not knowing how to contract the benediction. Then Lord Shiva reached the luminous realm of Vaikuntha, beyond all darkness, where the Supreme Lord Narayan is manifest. That realm is the destination of renunciates who have attained peace and given up all violence against other creatures. Going there, one never returns. Purport. According to Srila Siddha Swami, Lord Shiva entered the planet of Shwetadeep, a special outpost of a spiritual world within the confines of material universe. There, on a beautiful white island, surrounded by celestial ocean of milk, Lord Vishnu rests on the serpent bed of Anantashesh, making himself available to the demigods when they need his help. Text 27 and 28. The Supreme Lord who relieves his devotees' distress had seen from afar that Lord Shiva was in danger. Thus, by his mystic Yogamaya potency, he assumed the form of a brahmachari student with the appropriate belt, deer skin, rod, and prayer beads, and came before Vrikasur. The Lord's effulgence glowed brilliantly like fire. Holding kushagras in his hand, he humbly greeted the demon. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti quotes the disguised Lord Narayan as saying, "For us, seers of the absolute truth, all created beings are worthy of respect. And since you are the son of Shakuni, a wise man, and performer of great austerities, you certainly deserve the respectful greeting of a young brahmachari like myself." Chant prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyata Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurakshena He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nilachal Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balbhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namah Vancha Kalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachanam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamham Bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Parmananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. I humbly seek blessings of all the assembled devotees here, especially Prem Sagar Prabhu, Vrindanchari Prabhu, Sheila Sen Prabhu, and all the devotees, so that we may be able to speak for the purification of our heart, for the glorification of the Lord, as a service to all devotees and for benefit of everyone on this beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Krishna's one of the most enchanting qualities, and maybe the essence of all the wonderful qualities, is his intense feeling of love for everyone, how he loves everyone. And it is only out of love for everyone that everything in the spiritual world is going on, all the reciprocations, every creation, every single creation in the spiritual world is simply because Krishna wants to reciprocate that love. It is only out of love that he creates this material world for the rebellious souls. When we see this creation, especially when we read in Srimad Bhagavatam, the whole process of creation, if we see with the proper perspective and hearing from the devotees of the Lord, we can understand actually this whole creation is manifestation of love of Krishna. How Krishna personally works so hard, creating so many detailedly all the elements and every single aspects, whether it's false ego, mind, and sense objects and everything he has done. It's simply out of love for the conditioned souls that okay, let me give them chance. He creates so many types of taste, sight to fulfill the varieties of material desires jivas have. So he says, okay, And he gives, it is simply out of love for the jivas that Krishna is working so detailedly. It is out of love that he, in this material world, he descends and performs so many pastimes. He doesn't have to, but it is simply out of his love. And it is simply out of his love and compassion that he gives scriptures. As in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks to Sanatana Goswami, Maya mugdha jivera nahi swatak Krishna gyan, jivera kripaila koile Krishna Veda Puran. When the living entity is enchanted by the external energy, he cannot revive his original Krishna consciousness independently. Due to such circumstances, Krishna has kindly given him Vedic literature such as the 4 Vedas and 18 Puranas. So Krishna, knowing very well that we have no hope ourselves, so Krishna creates the material energy, material nature also, and he mercifully gives scriptures, by which we can come back. So here in this section, we are seeing also Krishna's intense love. His love for everyone. His love for Lord Shiva, as this verse, text number 27 and 28 especially, if we see, text number 27 especially, here it's 22 written, but 27 is a very important verse. It says that Tam tatha Vesanam Drishtva Bhagwan Vrijinardana. Vrijina means of distress, Ardana means the eradication. And then he says, so in that way, the Lord is a personality, who always, whenever he sees his devotees are in distress, as in the translation says, the Supreme Lord who relieves his devotees' distress had seen from afar that Lord Shiva was in danger. Right? So the Lord here shows mercy to Lord Shiva, and actually the Acharyas explains the Lord who comes as a small boy, I think Srila Sanatana Goswami, commentary to text 28, he says, Sanatana Goswami says that that the personality who came there is Lord Krishna himself. He says like that. So Krishna has come. Krishna has come to perform the further pastime as a boy, as a young boy. That's what Sanatana Goswami is saying. So Krishna is very kind, to both, to Vrikasur and to Lord Shiva, and that is the mercy of the Lord. He is merciful to everyone. He shows kindness in different ways. So we'll little bit go through all the verses, and then we'll come back to this very point and try to discuss more deeply. So we saw that this section is very interesting. Here we are seeing that the section begins with Parikshit Maharaj asking the question that how strange it is that the Lord Shiva is completely renounced person. He is literally have nothing, with him. There's a story also that how he once got a home, and then he did a very elaborate Graha Pravesh ceremony, and at the end of the Graha Pravesh ceremony, he was so charitable, so kind, so benevolent that he started giving charity, and at the end he gave charity of his own home also. And that was the end. And there was again, he was back under a tree. So he's very, very simple, renounced personality, but we find his devotees are so opulent, and Lord Shiva gives easily benediction to them. Whereas Krishna's devotees Krishna is very opulently living, but Krishna's devotees are very, very simple, and not having so much wealth. So how is it like that? So that's a premise on which the discussion has begun. And then we saw Sukadeva Goswami first quoted from Yudhishthira Maharaj and Krishna's conversation, where Krishna explains the principle behind it. The principle is that Krishna doesn't want to cheat his devotees, right? In simple words, Krishna wants to give the real thing. Krishna knows that what has happened. What is the whole situation? The whole situation is that we have got caught up in the material things, and material substance cannot make one happy. That is the whole point, and that's why Krishna is not interested in his devotees getting entangled into so much of material opulences and material, whether physical, whether gross opulence or the subtle opulence of name, fame, prestige. Krishna is not interested in those things, and that's why Krishna may create so many situations in a life of a devotee that he will be coming closer to him and getting the real eternal benefit. Just like I heard in one lecture, His Holiness Sadhana Swami Maharaj was sharing that once they went, with some sannyasis, ISKCON sannyasis, some few ISKCON sannyasis, they were feeling that, how we can learn something better, maybe from some other organizations, so that maybe we can improve, in ISKCON, how we can improve our management, how we can do little better. So they found that there was one organization which is doing, big organization, but they're doing very good, smooth management. So all these sannyasis went to them, and they were the worshippers of Lord Shiva, actually. So then they went together and met this main Mathadish, and they asked that, that can you please tell us that how you all managing so nicely and how we can do much better, And this Mathadish, he was really an intelligent person and quite learned, seems to be, and he said that actually, truly speaking, you will never be able to manage the way we do, And they were thinking, how you can say like that? And then he asked, why you are saying this, You will never be able to do because you are worshipping Krishna. That is the main problem. For us, we can manage very nicely because we are worshipping Shiva, and Shiva is Ashutosh. He becomes very easily, happy, and he gives us whatever we want, But you are worshipping Krishna. He said that Krishna is Purna Purushottam Bhagavan. Purna Purushottam Bhagavan, and that's why he will not do what you want. He will do what is necessary to make you surrender to him, right? And because of that, you will not be able to manage, smoothly, right? Because that's not the purpose, See, Krishna is very loving, He knows if everything goes very smooth, how we will chant feelingly, how we can cry out the holy names, That's not the purpose, to get settled in this material world, right? So if any demigods are helping one getting settled in this material world, it's a cheating because it's not possible. This very body is a temporary body; it will be finished. How can you get settled? So it's simply cheating business. So that's why Krishna is really a loving personality. He doesn't do that, and that's what Krishna says in few verses which we saw before. And making that context, now further Shukdev Goswami, to elaborate this point, he gives this story of Vrikasur, where Vrikasur is a powerful demon, and this demon approaches Narad Muni, and the Acharyas explain that when Vrikasur is approaching Narad Muni, Vrikasur is actually his demonic mentality is expressed. Right? The first verse which comes itself says, so he says, he approached Narad Muni. The verse number 14 says that the demon Vrika, the son of Shakunis, once met Narada on the road. The wicked fellow asked him which of the three chief gods could be pleased most quickly. So there the Acharyas explain that Vrikasur did not even offer respects. See what it says. He once met on the road, and he met on the road, and he just said, Narad Muni, can you tell me quickly whom I can just worship immediately? So it's a very demonic mentality. He didn't even offer proper respect to Narada and everything. He was just wanting the results. So like that. Jai Shri Nathai Gauranga Bhagwan ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So he was, and this is the demonic mentality that मेरे को results चाहिए, मेरे को fruits चाहिए, जल्दी से मेरे को बताओ how I'll get. So Narad Muni, understanding that he's not a sincere disciple approaching me with genuine, inquiry, not like that. Whereas, yesterday we were hearing from Acharya Prabhu that how Dhruv Maharaj, he approached in a very submissive attitude. He was sincerely looking for the truth. Whereas Rikasur was not looking for the truth. He was just wanting somehow the other, and no respect also. So Narad Muni also immediately told, that, oh, you worship Lord Shiva. Narad Muni, knowing well that this is the way, you will be, really benefited, right? Because he understand the whole pastime. And then the yesterday's verse, we saw that Narad Muni says that, that Ravana and Bana, so the Acharyas explain the context of this verse, because Narad Muni first says that he quickly becomes pleased and he quickly becomes angry. So then Acharyas explain that hearing this, this Rikasur got a doubt that, oh, if he quickly becomes angry also, then what will, if he harms me or something like that. So immediately Narad Muni says the verse which we read yesterday, that no, don't worry, he quickly becomes angry, also, but do not worry, because he is such a personality that when he gave benediction to Ravana and Bana, he himself got into trouble. But the devotees are not a problem. So don't worry. he may become angry, but he will not harm you. He is very compassionate and very kind. So then Rikasur got convinced that he himself may go into trouble, but he will not create trouble for me. So and that's what exactly happens in Rikasur pastime also. He himself also got into trouble, but he will not, he didn't create trouble for Rikasur himself. So this is a very, very merciful nature of Lord Shiva, as actually described here. But here Rikasur, as a demonic personality, is trying to take advantage of that. So what he does, he goes to Kedarnath, and he is offering his flesh to Lord Shiva by offering in the sacred fire. And further Acharya explained that Ravana and Bana are the example of worshipping in mode of passion, and here we are seeing directly Rikasur worshipping in mode of ignorance. Lord Shiva is like very, very ghastly kind of sacrifice which is happening here. And then for 7 days he did that, and then on the 7th day, then he decided that giving so much flesh, nothing is happening. Then he took bath in the holy water. Every day he would take 3 times bath, Acharya has explained, and then on this particular day he took a special bath, and he came with his hair wet, and he kept his head above the fire, and he took the hatchet and prepared to cut off his head, and Lord Shiva immediately rose out from the fire, because he is very compassionate. Lord Shiva is such a loving and compassionate person. He immediately came out of the fire, and it says here that he grabbed both the arms of demon. So much love. You can see from these verses, text number 19 especially, that that is saying that Lord Shiva rose from the sacrificial fire looking like the god of fire himself, grabbed both the arms of demon to stop him from killing, just as we would do. And by Lord Shiva's touch, Rikasur once again became whole. So whatever flesh was gone, that also he revived. And Lord Shiva said that, you don't have to do such ghastly sacrifices. You don't have to torment yourself, so badly, because I am Ashutosh. Lord Shiva's name is Ashutosh. I am very easily pleased. You don't have to do all this. And Lord Shiva says that since I am pleased with a simple offering of water from those who approach me for shelter. Why Lord Shiva was not coming? Because he's not coming for shelter. But someone approaches for Lord Shiva, like devotees of the Lord. Devotees also approach Lord Shiva. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went in South India Yatra. He went to all Lord Shiva's temple and offered obeisances. So we worship Lord Shiva, but as a devotee for the shelter, so that we can also develop devotion for Krishna. So worshipping Lord Shiva is very easy, and very easily Lord Shiva is pleased, provided we are having the right consciousness and right attitude. Whereas here we find there is no proper attitude, and that becomes more evident as soon as the benediction is given. So the benediction sinful Vrika shows from the Lord would terrify all living beings. And Vrika said, so immediately Vrikasur, like completely like materialistic business is going on there. Vrikasur immediately says, may death come to whomever I touch upon the head with my hand. So Lord Rudra, this verse in the board says, Lord Rudra seemed somewhat disturbed. Lord was not happy. Nevertheless, he vibrated Om to signify his accent, granting Vrika the benediction with an ironic smile, as if giving milk to the poisonous snake. So this is what Lord Shiva did. And later on, the next verse says that Lord Shiva became frightened because immediately Vrika ran behind Lord Shiva to kill Lord Shiva himself. So he was frightened, and Lord Shiva was running ahead. Now Lord Shiva, this is one amazing quality of Lord Shiva. He could have himself turned behind. Vrikasur was not so powerful that Lord Shiva can't kill him. But then he's a devotee of Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva started to run. And he ran to so many demigods about. But then text number 25 explains that the great demigods could only remain silent, not knowing how to counteract the benediction. The demigods also were thinking, abhi kya kare, because if you just kill the Vrikasur was not such a powerful demon that you can't kill. Demigods, but if you kill and it's devotee of Lord Shiva, it's like not a proper, then Lord Shiva's name will be spoiled. So they were confused what to do. Lord Shiva understanding ki koi mere ko help nahi kar pa raha hai, and purport it says, and Acharyas in the commentary they say that even Brahma and other demigods, no one was able to understand what to do in this situation. Lord Shiva is in danger now, but no one is able to help. And that's why we have to understand, that the only hope is Krishna. So immediately Lord Shiva understood, there's no one can help me right now. So he went to Shwetadeep, where he took shelter of the Lord Narayan, Lord Krishna there. And at that point of time, this verse, 27th verse, which is today's discussion, it says, Tam tatha vyasanam drishtva. So Krishna, seeing very clearly what has happened, knowing very well what has happened, he is very kind and merciful. And then through his mystic Yogmaya potency, he became as a brahmachari student, with appropriate belt, deer skin, rod, and prayer bead, and came before Vrikasur. And it was so attractive that Vrikasur stopped seeing him. And he also stopped. He also offered obeisances. In the next verses we'll see that how Lord offered obeisances to Vrikasur with great respect. And that made Vrikasur, to hear the words very nicely and attentively, by offering respect. So in that way, Lord is very, very powerful. And the main point is that we are seeing how Lord is very merciful to both Vrikasur and to Lord Shiva. Okay, so as I will now focus on, as yesterday Assemble made a point, very important point, and I'll try to dwell in that, because Assemble explained these topics. It told a very important point that the real issue in approaching the Lord is not that how many sacrifices and austerities one do, but it is the right kind of understandings we have. So this understanding is very, very important. As we see that Vrikasur or Hiranyakashipu or many demons like Ravana and all, they performed the austerities which even devotees will be like thinking how we can do such a thing. So their austerities are very, very great, externally. But because of the wrong understanding and the wrong attitudes, it's completely useless. Just see Hiranyakashipu perform such severe penances, but how long was the result? If you see that when Hiranyakashipu comes back, Prahlad takes birth. Prahlad in the womb only. And then when Prahlad is 5 years old, Hiranyakashipu is dead. That means how many years Hiranyakashipu could continue? With such 100 years of austerities and just 5 years of ruling. So it doesn't make, it's not at all fruitful, because of the wrong understanding. So that's why most important is the right understanding of what we are doing, and that's why Sambandha Gyan, right? So the Sambandha Gyan is necessary for doing Abhideya. We should first understand what is my position, who am I? That's why in deity worship, the first process of entering and the starting of the worship is Bhut Shuddhi prayers, where we sincerely pray and explain that how I am eternal servant of Krishna, but haven't forgotten about my original constitutional position. Now I have been suffering in this material world, threefold miseries, because I've forgotten by Maya Devi. By some unimaginable good fortune, now I have received and the mercy of my spiritual master, and I have understood that I am servant of Krishna. Right? And in that way, now I am going to following the footsteps of my spiritual master. I will serve Shri Srinivaya Gauranga. So in that way, we understand the right Sambandha Gyan, and then only we can do Abhideya. Then only we can chant Hare Krishna, worship Lord, perform all varieties of devotional service. So yesterday we were also hearing one wonderful class by His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj, which was given in 1982, that is 42 years ago. And there Maharaj was telling, so those days it was in America, this class was in America, and those days it seems that people were very much, even students, Maharaj was telling that even the children in the schools, they are taught that you may die because of nuclear attack, right? There's so much fear of nuclear bombs coming. Anytime they may come and you will be killed. So everyone, Maharaj was telling that everyone in this world is in complete fear, fear and anxiety. What will happen? What will happen? Right? Constant fear. Fear is the constant thing. Like we say, ahar, nidra, bhay, mathunam cha. So among ahar, nidra and mathunam, these are very short time. But bhay is 24 hours, all throughout. So bhay is a constant, so fear. And then Maharaj made a very nice point. He was telling that why this fear? Why so much fear is there? The whole root cause of fear is misidentification with the body. So again, the lack of Sambandha Gyan. If we are not understanding who am I, who is Krishna, what is material nature, and what is Bhagavad Gita, 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. So if we have no proper understanding of these things, what is Kala, what is time, what is Karma? If you understand all these things, like karma, if you just understand karma philosophy itself can make one not having fear, because if I have done some wrong things, I will suffer, whatever I may do. So then you become free of that, free of fear, even if and if you understand Krishna, then you become more free of fear. If you understand I am not this body, I am a spirit soul, you become free of fear. It's just by having this right knowledge, one is freed from fear. But because of ignorance, because of misunderstanding, of I am this body, immediately, as soon as we understand I am this body, if we think I am this body, immediately there is so much fear, because this body is 100% destined to be finished. Whatever best you do. So fear will be 100% there all throughout. It can never be gone. Whereas, I was telling the solution is to understand Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke. In one lecture of Srila Prabhupada also makes that point. It really struck me when so many times we may hear this verse, but Prabhupada in this lecture says, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke. Krishna is telling, these all jivas are mine. Right? So Krishna is telling, ye mere log hai. So it's like he's possessing us. That makes us sheltered. That okay, कोई मेरे को बोल रहा है कि ये मेरा है, और कौन बोल रहा है? कोई normal व्यक्ति नहीं बोल रहा है, even if the president of America or prime minister of India says ये मेरा है, still you can't be secured, because you don't know what will be the future. Everything changes in this material world. But when Krishna says, you are mine, ये मेरे हैं, you feel completely sheltered because Krishna's position is eternal, permanent, and when he says you are mine, our position also becomes eternal, permanent. Now nothing can harm. You become fearless. So that is the right sambandha gyan. So Krishna has very kindly given us, the way to revive this sambandha gyan. So we will little bit, okay, a little bit for at least few verses we'll read from Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he is giving instructions to Sanatana Goswami, there he is explaining about that how Krishna is so kindly, mercifully given us a method by which we can be resituated back. So first Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, this is Madhya Leela, chapter 20, text 117 onwards. And we'll just read the translation. They are beautiful purports and wonderful verses and translations. Because of limited time, I'll just read some few and and try to understand deeply. So it begins with Krishna bhuli se jiva nadi bahirmukh ateva maya tare de samsara dukh. Forgetting Krishna, the living entity has been attracted by external feature from time immemorial. Therefore, illusory energy gives him all kinds of misery in his material existence. So all the miseries are there because we forgot Krishna, right? And since that time there is so much misery. So first of all, we have to understand that the misery is because of forgetting Krishna. And then further he says, Kabu swarge uthaye, kabu narke dubaye, dandya jane raja jena nadite chubaye. So sometimes in the material world, one becomes very prosperous and happy, very nicely situated. And sometimes he's very miserable and everything is taken away from him. But all this, is simply like a king punishes a criminal. So even the happiness, if someone is very happy, prosperous and feeling, mera sab theek hai, sab bahut acha hai, it is simply because of Maya. Maya making him think like that, right? That is also Maya, very, very deadly. And that is more deadly Maya because that is the only way, one continues suffering, Once I heard Prem Supa was giving a very nice point. It struck me long back. I heard from Prabhu. He made the point that how the material happiness, which comes, is like a reason so that you can continue to suffer. The happiness is given to you so that you continue. Because if happiness is not given in between, little, then you will not continue to suffer. Then you want to just become frustrated. But the material happiness is a way to make you suffer. Just like this example here, this what is that? Prison criminal is taken inside water, and then he is taken out, not to make him happy, but so that next time again you can make him suffer more. So like that. So similarly, a puff of air looks like happiness. Oh, now I'm happy. So material happiness is like that. Someone getting material prosperity and happiness, it's a bigger danger. So this is whole material world is. So then what is the solution? So it says, very important verse, text 120. Sadhu Shastra Kripaya Yadi Krishnonmukha haya sei jiva nistare maya tahare chadaya. If the conditioned soul becomes Krishna conscious by the mercy of saintly persons who voluntarily preach scriptural injunctions and help him to become Krishna conscious, the conditioned soul is liberated from the clutches of Maya, who gives him up. Hare Krishna. Very, very powerful verse. So the hope for conditioned soul is, that is sadhu shastra kripaya. That is saintly person who gives the teachings of the scriptures. That is the hope. Then a living entity can be turned. So in that way we can be also very, very grateful that in our own lives, we are so fortunate that we received mercy of Srila Prabhupada through his dear representatives in our lives. And Srila Prabhupada has given so many wonderful literatures and scriptures by which we, by studying them properly, immediately we can be Krishna conscious. Anytime any problems going on in the mind or anything, just open Prabhupada books, any purports, immediately can revive one back, and give them the real understanding, And Prabhupada's every purports, Prabhupada is so merciful that he doesn't, so much dwell into technicalities. Sometimes some people saying that the Bhagavad Gita, why the Karma Yoga section, a lot of bhakti is being talked. That is the real thing. Prabhupada is so much merciful that even if you open any section from Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada gives the real essence, the real point which Krishna is mentioning, Krishna's real heart. Prabhupada conveys. That's why it is Bhagavad Gita as it is. You open anything and you will be revived back. That, oh, I forgotten Krishna and I have to revive back my Krishna consciousness. I should practice devotional service. Prabhupada will bring it to that point in the purpose. So this is what we have received, and also from this verse also we can understand what is the hope for the world. People in this world, they are suffering. The only hope is, as it mentioned here, that if the conditioned soul becomes Krishna conscious by the mercy of saintly person who voluntarily preach scriptural injunctions and help him to become Krishna conscious, the conditioned soul is liberated from the clutches of Maya, who gives him up. So Maya Devi also gives him up. Maya Devi also decides, ठीक है, इसको छोड़ देता. अब ये इसको devotees लोग ने पकड़ लिया, अभी मैं इसको छोड़ देता. So like that, So Maya Devi also gives up. So very important. So in that way, we can understand the hope for this world is that we also, voluntarily take opportunity to go out and distribute Krishna consciousness. Especially in this month of marathon period is going on. Where we go out and take this message and somehow the other give. This is the only hope. This is the only hope for spreading Krishna consciousness, for making them fortunate and happy, and in that way Maya will be, leaving them, if they somehow the other take up. So we have to be very exemplary in our own lives and very loving and caring in our dealings, so that a person, when they are also not just taking the books, they are learning it, and in that way they'll be very much benefited. So let us go out. So I'll just conclude with one quote of Srila Prabhupada on Prabhupada saying that how it's necessary that we go out to people. So go out to people and reach Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada says here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Anadar Bahir Mukh Jeev Swata Nahi Krishna Gyan. Prabhupada quotes something. And then Prabhupada saying that, so we are so foolish, influenced by material energy, that automatically we cannot understand Krishna. Therefore, Krishna conscious propaganda is required. Not that automatically they will come to Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada is saying that, okay, preaching will happen all over the world, but it will not happen automatically. Not that automatically they will come to Krishna consciousness. There is need of spreading. If you are actually benevolent to your countrymen, to your society, to human society, you must spread and preach this Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, they are going away, carried away by the influence of Maya. Therefore, the most valuable, important welfare activity is to spread Krishna conscious movement all over the world. So that way, this is the only hope. Else, this material world is simply so many problems. Material world is simply giving them, so-called solution. It's like which is not the real medicine. Their hearts are always tormented because of not having relationship with Krishna. So Sambandha Gyan is very important, and that is there in Prabhupada books. So let us utilize this marathon period to go out, distribute. Even due to some services, if we can't go out, I saw that on the day of this Gita Jayanti, and the next day, on the day of Gita Jayanti, practically, I thought that it was difficult for me to go out due to some reason. Then even sitting here, I sent many messages to many devotees, many of my contacts in India, outside India also, and requested them, please sponsor Bhagavad Gita. And just in one day of messaging, I got almost to 141 books, they got sponsored. So I just, and I practically did nothing. Then I was thinking that if I would have I'm thinking I should do a little more, you know. So if we can go out, then how much more can be done? So point is that it's so very important that we really take steps, you know, and spread Krishna consciousness. That gives so much more mercy. Also, yesterday, this last point, yesterday Jayapataka Maharaj was telling in his lecture. I conclude with his point. He was telling that that anyone who, you know, our hope is Krishna consciousness. We take up Krishna consciousness. But if we preach Krishna consciousness, if someone who goes out and preaches Krishna consciousness, he becomes part of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tree. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tree, we have read in 8th chapter of Adi Leela, where tree is going and extending and spreading. So you also become a leaf or a, you know, branch or somewhere of the tree, you know, and in that way you become eternally part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. Reward. So in that way, just we help in preaching Krishna consciousness. We are actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came for that purpose. We also become part of that Mahaprabhu's intense Leela. You know, Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.